What if I told you there was one thing you could do as a guitarist to get more placements? I'd answer as learning to play the acoustic guitar. The reason is simple. Making high quality acoustic guitar melodies is a lot harder and more intimidating compared to the electric guitar. And for that reason, not as many guitarists really focus on acoustic guitar. If you learn this skill, you will stand out as a producer and get way more placements. And I know from experience, I've got tons of placements for myself playing the acoustic guitar. Here's what you guys are gonna learn in this video. I'm gonna show you how to record professional sounding acoustic guitar at home with a minimal setup. I'll show you how to process your guitar to make it sound super clean, and I'll show a technique that is super slept on that I use every single time I play acoustic guitar. I'll show you specific techniques I use, including a hack to get professional sounding strumming that's super easy to play. And lastly, I'll make an acoustic guitar loop 100% from scratch, where I'll break down my step-by-step process so you can replicate it. Without further ado, let's jump into the first step, which is recording. Recording is the part that intimidates the most people. I know it intimidated me at first too. There's a lot of tutorials out there, but they often focus on the best-in-class ways to record if you have a perfect setup. I'm gonna break down what really matters and what doesn't for recording acoustic guitar at home. You can go out there and spend thousands of dollars on a guitar, but if you don't know how to record properly or process the sound, it's honestly gonna sound like shit. At the same time, you can spend only a few $100s on an intermediate guitar and be really good at recording and making melodies and get tons of placements that way. I encourage you to use whatever you have now and perfect the recording and processing side of things before you go and invest in a new guitar. The room you record in makes a difference, but it shouldn't be an excuse for why you shouldn't record acoustic guitar loops. I just want to start off by saying every single time I record an acoustic guitar loop, even if the finished product sounds super clean, the original raw recording always has a shit ton of room noise. And that's just the reality of not having a professional studio at your fingertips. But if you still know how to record properly and process that sound and add effects, you will not be able to tell in the final product. If you do have some options in terms of what room you can record in, I have two pieces of advice. One, try and get a room that doesn't cause a lot of reverberation or echoes. And the things that do that are very, hard walls, hard floors. Honestly, bedrooms are the perfect places to record. A bed itself is acting as an acoustic panel and absorbing the sound so it's not bouncing off the wall and then coming back to the mic and creating resonant frequencies. If you don't have a bed, try and add something like a couch or a big chair. Definitely add a rug to the bottom of your floor. The other thing you can do is just pick a room that doesn't have a crazy amount of, vents or house noise. Just to show you guys that this is not something that should hold you back or you should stress about, here's my room setup. As you can see, I'm in an office, it's not a bedroom, and there's honestly a lot of hard surfaces. I added a carpet to the bottom, which helps. I have kind of a bookshelf over here, but it's not the most perfect thing, but that doesn't hold me back. On top of that, I'll pull my camera up to now. Listen to this vent. That is constantly going, and in every single acoustic recording I do, I hear it. But there's a way to get rid of that, and I'll show you. Choosing where to record in your room. This definitely matters, but it's more that you just want to position yourself in a way where you're not completely screwing yourself. What you want to do is avoid recording right in front of a hard surface or wall. What you're actually doing when you do that is you're closing in the sound, and that's going to lead to a very boomy recording. Your sound is going to hit the mic, but it's also going to hit the wall behind it and then keep bouncing back and forth. This back and forth bouncing is creating resonant frequencies, and it's gonna make the recording sound super boomy. Here's where I record in my room. Position myself so the corner of the room is behind me, and then I'm relatively further away from the vent and my PC, which is on the other side of the room. Mic choice definitely matters, but it's more about understanding what's the right type of mic to use for your scenario and getting a decent level mic that serves your needs. Similar to the guitar, you don't need to spend a crazy amount of money on the mic. For starters, some acoustic guitars actually have a mic built inside. So for example, mine does, and I can just plug it in there. In my opinion, you don't want to use that mic for recording loops because that mic is more for playing live, but the recording itself that it's going to pick up, since it's right inside the guitar itself, is going to sound super thin. Part of the beauty of acoustic guitar is you get the room noise. There are two types of external mics that you can get: dynamic and condenser mics. A dynamic mic is what I'm using right now to record my voice. The way a dynamic mic works is it only picks up the sound right in front of it. As a result, you're gonna get less surrounding room noise, but it also means the output volume is gonna be a lot lower. The other type of mic you can use is a condenser mic. The way a condenser mic works is it's picking up the audio from all directions. As a result, you're gonna get a lot more room noise, which makes it sound more full. But if not used correctly, you can get too much room noise, which is hard to work with. I'm about to show you guys a comparison of how each of these types of mics sounds. In the description, I'll also leave a link to these two exact mics. They're both entry-level mics on either side. honest recommendation is if you were to pick one, I would go with the dynamic mic. 90% of videos you hear on the internet, when people talk about recording acoustic guitar, it's always a condenser mic. The reason for that is, yes, if you're in a professional studio, I would always choose a condenser mic too. Get a much more rich and warm sound recording with a nice quality condenser mic. If you're not in a perfect sound treated room, it's not to say you can't use a condenser mic. I definitely use it sometimes, but if there is more room noise, it can just be more work to process it after the fact. Similar to the type of mic you want to choose, there's also lots of opinions on the internet about where you should place your mic for recording. For me, I do it in front of the 12th fret on an angle towards the sound hole, but not right into the sound hole, because if you put it right in front of the sound hole, it's going to sound very boomy. In terms of the distance you want it in front of the 12th fret, if I'm using a dynamic mic, I keep it pretty close. But if I'm using a condenser mic, you don't want it too close, as the output volume of the recording is a lot louder and you don't want to clip the sound. Audio interface. It's critical to have, but honestly, the exact one you have isn't going to make much of a difference. Ever since I've started producing, I've been using Focusrite audio interfaces. They are some of the best entry-level interfaces you can get. First started with a Focusrite Scarlett Solo, and then I moved on to a 2i2. They're really easy to set up. And the only thing I really tweak once it's set up is the input level for recording the acoustic guitar. If I'm using a dynamic mic, I have it a bit higher versus a condenser mic, which is lower. And it also depends on what you're recording. So for example, if it's a loud sound like strumming, I turn it down. I'm doing something softer like finger picking and arpeggio, I turn it up. We'll have an indicator of how loud the sound is, and you just want to make sure it's not clipping or going red. Now let's get on into the next step, which is processing the recording. I'm going to take that chord progression I just played and show you guys exactly how I process my acoustic guitar. So I'm going to take my dynamic recording, and here's what it sounds like with no effects, no processing whatsoever. You can see that it's really quiet, and if I turn up the volume, the room noise just gets crazy. There's a lot of ways to get room noise out of a recording, and there's a lot of plugins out there that do it for you. Personally, I think this is a super slept on technique, but you should always be using Edison to remove the room noise. So I'll go like this, and then go edit an audio editor. When you use a VST to remove the room noise, it can work if there's only a little bit of room noise. But if you have a lot of room noise in the raw recording, it's just going to make the final product, if you actually try and remove the room noise out of it, super thin, because it's going to take too much audio out of it. If you use Edison, you can tell it exactly what you want to remove and nothing else. What you want to do here is find a spot where it's just room noise and try and make it as long as possible of just the room noise. And then I'm going to go up here and acquire the noise profile. So just right click it and then take the entire sample and go back to where I right clicked and left click it. Now here I leave the threshold in the middle. Now I usually do the amount around here, and you can preview it before you accept. If I take it up too much, here's what it sounds like. So it sounds a bit thin, so I'll do it somewhere around here. What you can honestly do is just go do it a second time. There is a little bit of room noise, and you don't want to remove it completely, but sometimes doing it a second time can help. And this time, now that I've acquired the new noise profile, I'm only going to do a little bit. So now if I do the side-by-side comparison, here's what that sounds like. Before, after. So you can see Edison right off the bat makes a massive difference. The next thing I'm going to do is add an EQ. And the first EQ I always add is just a low cut. So I'm going to go parametric EQ2, the stock one that comes with FL, and I'm going to do like a 70 hertz cut. And it's because like anything below here, it's just rumbling that you don't need. The next EQ I'll add is I'll go here and I'll listen for some harsh frequencies. So this is where if you don't have a perfectly sound treated room or you didn't have the perfect mic placement, there's always going to be a bit of boominess to your recording. So I want to find that boominess and remove it. So I'm going to go here and start searching for those frequencies. It's usually around here. Right there for sure. So I'm going to take that and go down. And usually I do it one more time, just see if I find any others. Yeah, see like there, it sounds like it's almost in like a tub. So there, I'm gonna go down. And I don't take it down all the way. And another thing you could do is if it's a very kind of bass heavy, you just take it all and shift it down a little bit there. So here's what it sounds like before EQ and after EQ. Next thing I add on pretty much all my acoustic guitar takes is this free plugin called Fresh Air. Basically what it's doing is it's using a bit of compression and EQ to take up some of the high frequencies without it sounding super harsh, but it sounds very smooth and airy. So I'm just gonna listen to it and play around. And the last step is just adding a reverb. And there's two reverbs I love to use. One, which you can get on its own, but it's also in Guitar Rig, is called ROM. So I used to just take it in its default state and I turn the mix down. It's awesome, great for a lot of, 2C and rod wave style loops, things that you just want to have a lot of reverb on them. For a more intimate sound, a great one is Valhalla Vintage Verb. And often what I'll do is I'll go into the presets, go ambiances, and then I pick a small or medium ambience. I'll do the small one, and then I just kind of turn the mix down. And the great thing about this is it doesn't make it sound super wet, but it's a very natural sounding reverb, almost as if you were in a better, professionally sound treated room. So without it sounds like this. And then with it sounds like this. All right, now I'm gonna bring it all together, take all the lessons and techniques I showed you guys and cook up a crazy acoustic guitar loop. I'm gonna go for a rod wave style acoustic loop, and I'm gonna try and get this placed because I'm gonna be sending it to Rod's producers. I'm gonna really lock in and use this mic to record, but I'm gonna annotate every step as I go through the process. I'm gonna be sure to call it specific go-to techniques I use. You guys know the ideal spot to record would be over in that corner, but honestly, just for the sake of making my workflow easier, I'm gonna record right here, which has a bit more room noise as it's by my PC, but who cares? It'll be fine. I'm gonna be using the same fundamental step-by-step approach that I use to make every single guitar loop. I broke down that process in my last video, which goes into key fundamentals of music theory to make guitar loops. So go check it out if you haven't.
found exits everywhere I went. Keep one eye on the door, just in case. Every time felt borrowed, every bit temporary, like I wasn't supposed to stay. I don't think home a place anymore. It's the same room wherever we land. I don't check the rear view like I used to do. If I know where you are, I know where I am too.
Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Definitely check out my new phrase kit called String Theory Elements, which has tons of guitar phrases. Even if you follow this video perfectly, acoustic guitar recording takes longer. Sometimes you don't have the time to do the perfect take and process it. Elements is made so you can speed up your workflow. I personally use it in every single loop I've made this year pretty much. You can create crazy acoustic guitar melodies in minutes. It comes from everything from chords to leads to arpeggios to strumming layers and accents. The link will be in the description. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.